Well, good evening, Internet students. I'm talking to you from a different location tonight. My license plates were stolen, or they fell off my truck, my silver pickup truck that you see in the videos. So with this COVID-19, everything is shut down, so I got to drive back to the state where my plates are registered and actually get brand new plates. So I'm actually in South Dakota tonight and heading back to get my license plates. So anyhow, okay, back to my lesson here, lesson 14, windows and doors bucks, and that was your tidbit for this lesson. And let's continue. So everything that you can install the windows and doors properly, secure them, shim them, level them, and also seal them into your logs for your log home. Tools and equipment: hammer, nails, square, circular saw, tool belt with ample supplies, cordless screw gun, wood screws, step ladder, blueprints, 2x6s to build the bucks, and proper attire. Step 1. Planning the milestone. Since this is primarily a window and door installation task, you want to lay out all your doors and windows first. Lean them up against the walls close to where they're going to be installed, but not right in the spot of your working area. Inspect them as they are delivered intact and in working order. If not, get on the phone to ensure the vendor understands if there's any mishaps in delivery. The next thing you must do is measure the doors and windows and jot down the measurements on a piece of paper or cardboard or whatever you have. The end goal is to ensure a tight fit when you build out your doors and window bucks in your brand new log home. Step 2. Build doors and window bucks. So here, student, I started out with a simple window, which the kitchen and bathroom windows were 3x3 feet, so those were easy to work with. The logs are 6 inches deep on the top, and since they're beveled, they're double D's, they were 8 inches in the center. So I had to use 2x6s for my door bucks and window bucks because that fit perfectly with the logs. And then essentially you're going to build a frame around the window or the door and make it snug. And there's only one caveat though. With log homes, you're probably going to have about a 2-inch settling over the next 3 to 4 years. So you can snug in the sides of the window and door bucks, even the bottom of the window buck, but you got to leave a 2-inch gap on the top of your door and window bucks. You can't make that snug to the top of the logs because that's going to be used for settling. So warning, don't forget to leave the 2-inch gap between the top of the window and the top of the doors because when the logs start to settle, they could actually smash your windows and your doors could be deformed that they don't close anymore. So here's another milestone off your project plan, and you should be able to do this one quickly and with ease. You should already have the tools that you need. Alright, step 3. Cut the logs to fit the bucks. Now fire up your chainsaw. You're going to use a chainsaw for this because you got to cut through the logs. You first have to mark the prescribed opening and cut into those immaculate logs that you just stacked. Your hole is going to fit the window and door buck securely, and you're going to have to make sure you ensure that there's an extra 2-inch gap at the top, which is above the window buck, which a 2x6 is actually 1.5 inches thick, so it's got to be an extra 1.5 inches plus 2 inches. So essentially it's going to be 3.5 inches from the top of your window or top of your door to the top of the log that you're going to fit it into. Tip 1. When you're cutting through the logs with a chainsaw, if you're very skilled, you don't have to worry about this, but I had to kind of do a 2-step approach. Take less off of the log than what you measured, and then go back for a second or third cut on the course with the chainsaw and take off a little more, and make sure it's level and make sure it's snug nice and flat, and you can use your carpenter's level to ensure that it has the exact results. So now that you've hollowed out your logs to specifications of windows and doors, it's now time to construct all the window and door bucks. Remember, the window and doors have window bucks have 4 sides, whereas the door bucks have 3 sides. That's important because you don't have a bottom for the door bucks. And so this is tricky to remember. So pay attention. If once you affix your pre-built door buck to the window that you just built, you want to go ahead and affix them with screws. However, you have to cut a slot into the window and door buck roughly 2 inches long, because remember, it's going to settle, and when the logs start settling down, you want to make sure it's got room inside of the window buck and door buck to come down 2 full inches as well, the screw. Otherwise, the screw is going to bend. It's going to bend downward when the logs come down, and it could, wreak havoc on your windows or doors when they're installed. So remember to not only leave the 2 inches at the top, but also cut a slot for your screws. And I actually used a washer for my screws as well, just to kind of give it that little extra added padding there. So, okay, now that your window and door bucks are built, your window bucks will now be screwed into the opening that you've just expanded with the chainsaw for all of your windows. And then you're going to go ahead and affix those screws, typically 2 on each side. Put a washer on there, and you want to put them at the top of that slit that you cut. That way, when it starts coming down, it's got a full 2 inches to come down. Your screw will come down in that slot just nicely. So now you're going to repeat this process for every window and door buck that you've installed, and be sure to install them in the actual windows opening and door openings as prescribed on your certified blueprints. Okay. Step 4, install windows and doors. So once we got our door and window bucks installed, we're going to position our windows so that they're oriented correctly under each of their correlating bucks. You're now ready for the installation. You will need to go outside of the log home and do the installation on your step ladder. You're not going to be able to install windows inside the home, students. So you want to have your cordless screwdriver charged to the max and your tool belt filled with ample supplies of screws. Take the first window and be sure it's right side up, because they can be upside down. And you want to go ahead and place it into the frame of the window buck, and it should fit securely. There's little screw holes around the windows. I think there was like 12 at the top, 12 at the bottom, and then probably another 15 on each side. So you're going to go through 40 or 50 screws, and make sure you hit them all, students, because you're going to have to seal off that window from the weather elements, and that's one way that you're going to do it. So take the first window and be sure it's right side up, squared, place it in place, and then go ahead and screw in all of the screws, they're wood screws, all the way around the plastic holes that are already pre-cut in the window frame itself. Okay, if you have any issues installing windows or doors, or mechanically thinking about it in your mind, the orientation of them, please watch a few internet videos that might help you and give you clues. If you still have issues, call a contractor, okay? You don't want to mess this step up. Step 5, you're going to seal the windows and doors. Now, this was a tedious part. I didn't like this part. It was a whole lot of caulking, and then you still may have leaks because you missed things. So the end goal is to seal the entire window or door to the buck that you just created. You're going to caulk around all of the bucks as they are, the windows and doors have been screwed into them. And you've also got to seal over the actual screws themselves. There's also an added step, which is going to be step 6, inserting tin strips. you're going to take your circular saw and you're 3 inches from the crease of the window. You're going to cut a slit about 1 inch deep into your logs all the way around all 4 sides of your window. You're going to do this for all the windows, and then around 3 sides of your doors, which is the 2 sides and the top. Do that for all of your doors. What this will do, students, is allow you to take a 4-inch piece of tin. You're going to bend it at the 1 inch mark into a 90-degree angle. Then you're going to insert that 1 inch into the 1 inch slit in the log that you've just created, and then the other 3 inches should cover your buck and also the crease of the window, and that'll seal everything immediately. Make sure that you start at the bottom first, and you don't have to screw in the bottom parts because you want to leave it open for water to get out. And then go ahead and do your sides next, and then your top, and you'll basically see, internet students, how that all comes out, and everything will overlap properly, because you want the 2 sides to overlap the bottom tin piece, and then you want the top piece to overlap the 2 sides. That way water will run from the top down the 2 side pieces and then down onto the bottom piece, and then you're done. If you do it any other way, you're going to get leaks when water starts running downward. Water will find a way into your house. It will. Then you're going to use your silicone epoxy, and you're going to go all around the tin, even the cracks where it entered into your logs, and you're going to go ahead and seal everything off at that point. And you know, the next thing is shutters. You can make these out of 1x6s like I did. They just kind of give added character to your log home. You can buy shutters, or even use the professional ones that can close over to the windows. That was kind of the last step to make everything tie in at this point. So, all right, and then in closing, please click the thumbs up button. Please subscribe to our channel, and then if you feel led to, please drop us a $5 donation at www.university1310.org. And Professor C signing off, wishing you all the best, and Godspeed.